All right, I had made this PowerPoint slide like a year ago, and this topic, every time it comes up, something winds up happening in the media to redirect. So every time the Seth Rich murder winds up in the mainstream, a mass murder happens, like a school shooting. All right, the most recent example I could give you is on the Joe Rogan show. Joe Rogan and Jimmy Dore were talking about the Seth Rich conspiracy on February 13th. And you know, when Joe Rogan talks about something, it impacts our age group significantly. It like makes it so, right? I was amazed that Joe Rogan and Jimmy Dore were talking about Seth Rich. I thought, oh my goodness, something's gonna happen tomorrow, and it's gonna bury this. It's gonna get people to stop talking about this. And sure enough, the very next day was the Stoneman Douglas, South Florida school shooting, which then dominated the news for like 3 weeks, and everybody forgot about Joe Rogan talking about Seth Rich. And at the time, I had the whole entire blueprint of all this. I can't remember it. These are the notes I just found. So let's just look at some of these 2016 and 2017 events. These events all buried some kind of news, generally dealing with Clinton. So in 2016 events, June 11th, the Hillary investigation shows she sent classified emails from her server and lied about it. The next day, June 12th, was the Orlando mass shooting. So that buried the whole Hillary investigation of the classified emails, the Orlando mass shooting, and then everybody wants to do the gun control. Then there was the death of John Ash the day before he was set to testify. Now, Snopes says that John Ash wasn't going to testify against Clinton, but if I remember correctly, the person he was testifying against are, well, hold up. First, when I type in John Ash death on Google, the very first result is fact check. UN official John Ash killed the day before. It's a Snopes article. So when we go to the Snopes article, it says UN official John Ash killed the day before he was to testify against Hillary Clinton. Now it says mostly false. What's true? Yes, he died. His death was initially misreported as a heart attack rather than an accident. He was about to begin pre-trial meetings related to corruption charges at the time he died. What's false? Ash's corruption trial wasn't set to begin just days after his death, and he wasn't going to testify against Hillary Clinton. Well, who was he going to testify against? So let's see what it says at the bottom here. Which involved Ash taking bribes from developer David Ng to support one of Ng's real estate projects at the UN, can be located here. Okay, so then who's David Ng? Well, we could see Inglap Singh. Is that the same David Ng? Yes, Inglap Singh, Wikipedia. Let's look this up. Okay, so what do we have here? Inglap Singh was also a part of a Democratic fundraising scandal when Bill Clinton was president and is mentioned in the Panama Papers. So Snopes says it has nothing to do with Clinton. So maybe it wasn't against Hillary Clinton, but it was against Bill Clinton, against this guy that's tied to Bill Clinton. And in July 2017, the U.S. District Court in Manhattan found Ng guilty of all charges he faced following a month-long trial. Now, unlike most conspiracy theorists, I'm not out here to put out Inglap Singh or even against Hillary Clinton or John Ash. I'm not here to talk about their corruption. I'm talking about how the media covers this stuff up. That's the part that drives me nuts. And not just media, Snopes. The misdirection that Snopes gives, and how do they get these top spots on Google? The number one thing for John Ash's death is a fact check to protect Hillary and nothing else. Barbell accident kills former UN leader. He just dropped barbells on his blogger falsely ties death of UN official to Clinton's. Well, how about that timing, huh? And my own quick fact check, I don't know what happened to John Ash. I don't know if Hillary Clinton was tied into it. I just know that the timing of it was very suspicious, as well as a lot of these other timelines here. All right, so back to the timeline. June 11th was the Hillary investigation. The very following next day was the Orlando mass shooting, followed by 10 days later, the death of John Ash, which that came right after another Clinton thing back in the media. And then July 1st, and this is all very close to each other, Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch meet on the tarmac. They had that like convo inside of a plane. And a week later was when Comey testifies before Congress. Now, the same exact day was a Dallas police killing. So that was another bury the news event. And then 3 days later, you have the actual death of Seth Rich. Now, Seth Rich's murder is the key centerpiece to, in my opinion, every event that's transpired in the past 2 years, because the official narrative is that the Russians hacked the election, which it's always this vague thing like the Russians hacked the election. But could it be that Seth Rich, the DNC staffer, was the actual hacker and then passed on the information to WikiLeaks? And this whole Russia stole the election. First off, the hack has never really been defined. The perpetrators have never really specifically been defined. And if Seth Rich is the guy that took all these emails and put them out for WikiLeaks to put out, it gave everybody a way to see how much corruption was going on. The election hacking of the primaries for the DNC against Bernie in favor of Hillary, as well as all the pedophile networks going on. Like, how come that part of the hack, if it wasn't even a hack, is not talked about? It's just that the Russians stole it, and we're not going to talk about anything that was revealed. And you know the funny thing about the WikiLeaks is that nobody's read any of the WikiLeaks. The media told you that these WikiLeaks exist, and some of the media stations said that it's a crime to read the WikiLeaks. And then you have even sites that try to make it simplified. The most damaging WikiLeaks.com. The further a society drifts from the truth, the more it will hate those who speak it. George Orwell. So you have this. Here's the top 100 most damaging WikiLeaks so far. I'm not going to go through this. You could go to this website, mostdamagingwikileaks.com. And none of these, you would have thought that this entire document would make the news every single day. The news only covers the reality that the WikiLeaks exists, but they never read the WikiLeaks online. They just give you vague generalities. You would think any of these would be like, here you go, news. If you need stories, you have 100 stories that you never ran. 100 most damaging WikiLeaks that you've never ran. And if you're a defender, I mean, I doubt it. If you're watching this, you're probably a conspiracy theory. You know, you're into truth. You're against the media. But say this to your friends that believe the media. Say, hey, if your media is really telling you the truth, how come they do not cover and have never covered any of, and these are just 100 of the most damaging WikiLeaks. They never cover any of this. So if you're still on the fence about whether or not the media is fake or not, fake news, if you still think fake news is just some fake word that Trump made up, this is fake news that the news never, they only tell you that the WikiLeaks exist. They don't cover the WikiLeaks. How could you not cover this? And then that also lets you know that whatever they do cover, Stormy Daniels. If you don't understand what I'm saying, yeah, I don't know what else I could tell you, but just keep watching this video. Hopefully by the end, you'll start to get it. And for full disclosure, I've never read this site either, the most damaging WikiLeaks. I remember when it first came out, I glanced at it, and I thought maybe this site is to get you to only look at these WikiLeaks and not look at the other ones. So there could be that angle of it as well. That's what a quality truther would say in their mind, saying, all right, is this a misdirection? Is this the front they want me to look at? Are these the least damage? Is this actually the least damaging WikiLeaks.com? I don't know. And it's also funny that I'm saying the news doesn't cover this, and here I am not covering it in this video. But this isn't even one video. This is like 100 videos. There's probably 100 videos that need to make one per WikiLeaks. But anyway, you get the idea. Take a look at this. Yeah, I know I didn't cover it here either. Dude, I haven't even gotten to the real subject matter yet. All right, so the July 10th, that was the death of Seth Rich. Also, by the way, the Dallas police killings, I think I covered that in one of my Rise of the Machines episodes. So July 10th, death of Seth Rich. July 12th, Loretta Lynch testifies before Congress. 2 days later, July 14th, the Nice, France mass murder. And then 10 days later, on July 24th, the DNC emails were exposed that undermined Bernie's campaign, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz resigns. The next day, so that would have been a huge deal if the DNC emails exposed to undermine Bernie and Wasserman resigns. So Wasserman resigns. The very next day, there's a mass shooting in Fort Myers. That's 3 big-time shooting events in Florida. Fort Myers, Orlando, and South Florida Stoneman Douglas. In addition, there was a massive hurricane that went through the entire state last year. You might think Florida is just unrelated, but Debbie Wasserman lives in Florida. Trump has some resorts in Florida, and many of the left hate the governor, Rick Scott. And don't forget, South Florida is the site of the 2000 recount. So June and July of 2016 were very eventful in a very short period of time. We are now in June now. So we'll keep an eye on June 2018. And there were plenty more events that happened after July, but I don't know, I just stopped keeping track. And that's when the campaign got really heated up. Trump was doing like 7 appearances a day, and Hillary was doing like 0 a week. All right, now let's take a look at the 2017 events. January 2017 was the Trump inauguration speech. 2 days later, Madonna says she wants to blow up the White House on January 22nd. May 22nd, Trump had the Saudi Arabia visit, and that night, the same night Trump had his Saudi Arabia visit, which was a big deal, Ariana Grande had a concert in Manchester, and there was a terrorist attack at her concert the same day as Trump's Saudi Arabia visit. What's the correlation? Not sure, but it was the same day. Maybe it'll make sense later on. Who knows? June 1st was the Trump Paris Accord speech. You gave him the finger. He didn't literally do it, but June 8th was the Comey hearing, followed by a week later the Sessions hearing. And then the day after the Sessions hearing, you have a Congress baseball shooting of Scalise. And it's the same thing that happened last time. Right after Loretta Lynch testified, there was the Nice France mass murder. And after the Sessions hearing, you have that congressional baseball game where Scalise was shot. And the reaction to that was pretty strange by the Democrats as well. June 27 was the American Pravda series by Project Veritas, and it begins, and it exposed CNN as fraud news. They had like undercover cameras where CNN was saying that they were pushing the Russia story because their audience was like just eating it up and ratings were good. July 7th, you had the G20 summit, and there were riots and protests. I'm not sure why I have that there, but on these events, you want to capture them, and then down the line, you go back and you start to see the correlations of what's going on. And again, this was another heavy June and a little bit into July, and I wasn't taking as good notes at this point. And also, as a truther, I know that the news doesn't really matter. Historical events are staged. I know all that. The news is part of the mainstream understanding of reality, so that's what the majority of people subscribe to. So I'm trying to help you at least navigate the news. Don't ever take the surface story of the news. Find the correlation. Find the reason. I promise you, everything has something built in. When I was in TV production training, they said you always have to have an angle to the news. And they were also training us to take sides. Which side are we going to be on? You have to be polarized. So remember, the news is engineered to be polarized and to always have an angle, aka an agenda to it. You can't just objectively report. So with that in mind, you have to look at all news with that lens, saying, what are they really saying here? Because there's always the nice surface story, but then there's the underlying conspiracy. All right, now after all that 13 minutes, finally, we're getting to the presentation. So I made this a year ago, and I had a lot on my mind. I hate when the news lies and misdirects and covers up. I get all. So I had made this. All right, look at how hard the media is saying, nothing to see here, look away. They claim no evidence to support the conspiracy theories, yet they have no evidence to support the cover story of a botched robbery. Why not allow an investigation to take place? Because they were trying to stop the investigators from investigating the Seth Rich murder. Nobody said anything about it. That's the part. It's like if the media does one thing, you have to say the other. It's like, whoa, hold up. Why no investigation? Why are they so against it if there's nothing to hide? So is the murderer still at large? Why are they peer pressuring people to just drop it? There is so much motive to have Seth Rich killed for leaking information. So let's see. So I just collected a ton of articles all on the same day to show, because again, there's people that still think the news is the truth and that it's not. It's not. Just check this out. Salon, The Tale of Two Hoaxes, the Seth Rich conspiracy theory and conceptual penis prank, both expose a fear of women's power. Two blatantly bogus internet hoaxes spread. All right, so that's that one. It's the quantity here that matters. So what's the date? Do we have a date on this one? I don't see one. Let's see if the next one has a date. Fox News staffers disgusted over Seth Rich conspiracy theory on May 23rd. Is that, yeah, 23rd. So this is like a local Fox network in St. Louis. So because a local Fox station, Fox News staffers disgusted over Seth Rich conspiracy theory. But notice it says by CNN wires. Yeah. All right. Fox News staffers disgusted at network's promotion of Seth Rich conspiracy theory by Oliver Darcy, May 22nd, 2017. CNN Media. Now, this is the time when Sean Hannity and Newt Gingrich, to a certain extent, were talking about Seth Rich a lot, and I was like, whoa, I can't believe this hit the mainstream media. Fox News employees disgusted after network pushes Seth Rich conspiracy from The Hill by John Bowden, May 23rd. On May 22nd, from The Fix, the Seth Rich conspiracy's biggest myths explained. USA Today, fact check. Newt Gingrich spreads Seth Rich conspiracy theory. And let's read the premise. Newt Gingrich claimed that a Democratic National Committee staffer apparently was assassinated after having given WikiLeaks something like 53,000 DNC emails and 17,000 attachments, but there's no evidence for his claim. So he's the conspiracy theorist, but all the Russian collusion, that's completely fine. From the Daily Dot. How the Seth Rich murder conspiracy theory went mainstream, May 22nd, by David Gilmore. The Week. Fox News employees are horrified Sean Hannity is still promoting Seth Rich conspiracy theories. Who at Fox? Who at Fox is... I don't even feel like looking. It's probably it's probably, what's his name? Shepard Smith. And therefore, all of Fox News is disgusted. It doesn't say Shepard Smith, but I would guess it's him or somebody else. As if everybody on Fox thinks the same. Newt Gingrich repeats Seth Rich conspiracy theory in Fox appearance. How dare he? Trump confidante and husband of ambassadorial nominee repeats WikiLeaks theory denounced as fake news by family of murdered DNC staffer. This is The Guardian. So look at this orchestrated attack, and this is on Sunday, May 21st. So all this is happening within 3 days, 21st, 22nd, and 23rd so far. Wired magazine, the Seth Rich conspiracy theory, a tale of two filter bubbles. Raw story, Seth Rich conspiracy theories reemerge. Oh, what was the date? Wow, okay, these guys had it for May 18. This one's May 22nd. Raw story. Seth Rich conspiracy theories reemerge. Suman Varandani is the author. And it says it's posted with permission from International Business Times. International Business Times. International globalists. Media matters for America. Sean Hannity. I'm not backing off the Seth Rich conspiracy. Hannity, even though there is an effort that nobody talk about Seth Rich. Yeah. So you know what they did after Hannity said he's not backing off? They went after Sean Hannity's advertisers. Because they don't have anything to hide, right? Media matters again, this time May 18. Jay Sekulow joins Hannity to shamefully push Seth Rich murder conspiracy theory. Media matters again. What's behind Sean Hannity's disgraceful Seth Rich conspiracy theories? May 22nd. Media matters. May 22nd again. Sean Hannity, I am right about Seth Rich because I was right about Trayvon Martin. So there they go, pushing the racist narrative. Washington, D.C. patch. Why isn't Fox 5 D.C. retracting its explosive Seth Rich story? And that one was May 18. BuzzFeed News. May 22nd. How one pro-Trump site keeps a debunked conspiracy theory alive. NPR. May 22nd. DNC staffer's murder illustrates how conspiracy theorists spread fake news. CNYCentral.com. May 16th. Wow, this is the earliest one. Family of slain DNC staffer Seth Rich blasts investigators' police obstruction claims. The Washington Post. In rumors around a DNC staffer's death, a whiff of a Clinton-era conspiracy theory. All right, and I didn't even cover it. Basically, they went after Sean Hannity's advertisers and basically forced his hand to stop talking about it. Now, I don't know what happened to Seth Rich. You don't know what happened to Seth Rich. None of us really know. But this suppression effort, conspiracy theorists, all this name calling, all this pressure to not talk about it. But they talk about Russian collusion, Stormy Daniels, all this other stuff all the time, and all these other people that were all day. But this Seth Rich thing, which is a big deal because if he's the guy that leaked the emails, that ends the Russia narrative. And he was probably killed because he leaked the DNC information, which means it was not a botched robbery, normal murder. This was a definite murder. And again, it's not to call out the murderer even. It's not to call the DNC or the Clintons or anybody. It's really calling out you if you allowed this narrative to make it go away, when they just want things to just go away. Things will just go away on their own. People forget after a week anyway. So why the cover-up? Why? Why the pressure to not talk about this? And all these words like disgraceful and all that stuff they're using, yet I've never seen the coverage of that Tim Kaine used to be the DNC chair, stepped down for Debbie Wasserman Schultz to succeed him. And Debbie used to be Hillary's campaign manager in the 2008 campaign. And after those WikiLeaks came out, Debbie Wasserman resigned as the DNC chair. And how that wasn't covered ad nauseum, it wasn't really covered at all. And that's not even called a disgrace when they're caught red-handed rigging an election against Bernie Sanders. All that just got swept under the rug. Trump, Russia, Trump collusion. And never, hey, you know, can you guys believe that an American primary election was rigged by the DNC? It's you might have heard it once, the day of, and that was it. And every day ever since then, probably that same day, it was Trump isn't Trump, Russia, and other things. And again, the news doesn't matter. It's just truth that matters. And I'm not saying Trump's the truth, but I'm saying that the way this coverage is taking place is so one-sided, slanted, all against Trump, and everything the other team did is completely fine or forgotten about and forgiven. And again, I know the media, I've been trained, I know the media is designed to piss you off. And that's fine. The media can say what they... I wouldn't care what the media said if the everyday people I encounter knew to not repeat or to believe what the media says. That's why I'm making this video. I know the news lies about everything. I hope my entire audience here knows as well. But what drives me nuts, it's not the media. I can't control the media and I can't control people, but I can persuade people to say, dude, the media is wrong. Turn off CNN, turn off MSNBC, turn off NPR, turn off Comedy Central. You could even turn off Fox News. I don't care. But definitely don't trust the ones I just told you. It's so slanted. I listened to the CNN satellite radio one day. It was the day that Trump made the comment about the Morning Joe lady that her plastic surgery was falling off her face. The news was so insane on the satellite radio. It didn't even make for like a comedy satire of the news being slanted. It was beyond what satire could produce. And the amount of stuff, if every time I see all this negative stuff about Trump by people, again, by your everyday people, I ask them, I'm like, yo, that's cool, man. I don't care what you think about Trump, but how about that DNC that got rigged? They don't want to talk about that. And I'm like, yo, as so long as you acknowledge the other side, say, I don't care what you say about Trump. Say whatever you want, but acknowledge the other side. Because if you're not acknowledging the other side, then you're so warped into one way of thinking that you're not really worth talking to, because your mind is so warped and brainwashed that it's just Trump is evil, Trump is bad, Russia. And I'm like, yo, do you guys see how much stuff was unleashed from these WikiLeaks? And you want to tell me about Trump and not even bring up any of this stuff that's been released? That is just, it's baffling. And even that's fine, because, you could have your allegiance and loyalty to your own political party. But then when you start saying things about conspiracy theorists, that's my political party, truthers, conspiracy theory, right? And when they start saying that everything's a conspiracy theory, and then it's like, yo, how much independent research do you actually do? outside of CNN, because that's not research. I've never met with an answer other than you conspiracy theories. You conspiracy theorists are the worst people in the world. I get that one a lot from a lot of people. You conspiracy theorists are the worst. You're ugly people. All these weird things. It's like, man. And, many truthers would say, yo, John, why do you even talk to these people? Why do you even engage in conversations, especially about politics? And it's like, because all they will do is watch one side and everybody lives in their echo chamber. So I try to provide the devil's advocate to everybody, no matter what their angle is, what their position is. And that's what Socrates used to do. Because in addition to being a truther, I consider myself a philosopher. Socrates always would challenge the way people think by asking them a series of questions to see how dedicated to their belief system they are and how well thought out it is. And so what you saw in a lot of those articles was damage control, and they also attempted to control the narrative by calling it a conspiracy theory, and then they made hasty generalizations about Fox. One person at Fox thought it was bad, and therefore all Foxes. That's a fallacy. And then how is rigging not disgraceful? I mean, there was no public outcry or disgrace or any name calling about any of the shenanigans that took place for the DNC. They rigged it against Bernie. The only people that got mad were Bernie supporters. I didn't see any Hillary. Hillary still got to run for president after it was uncovered that she robbed Bernie Sanders of the election. And that's why it's like, yeah, Trump, whatever. You know what the alternative was? The alternative was Hillary Clinton. And she was completely unacceptable. You can't vote for her. So that's my issue. It's like, yeah, okay, I get it. You don't like Trump, but what was the alternative? Yeah, no way. No way, Hillary. And so we said May 18th through May 23rd, 2017 was when all that pressure was being put on Sean Hannity. And let's take a look at our 2017 events. What do we have? May 22nd, Trump Saudi Arabia visit. May 22nd, Ariana Grande Manchester terrorist attack. Every time Seth Rich made it into the news, it was followed by one of these events, and even into 2018. So the next time Seth Rich gets brought up again, keep an eye out to see what news story buries the news. I was going to wrap the video right there, but then I just found this folder with a ton of screenshots that I kept. So we have Kim.com. How will Democrats and their hashtag fake news partners brush away the fact that I had insider knowledge about the upcoming leaks? Hashtag Seth Rich. Then we have Sean Hannity. What's the date? May 21st. Is it possible that one greatest lies ever told is soon exposed? How will the tinfoil hat destroy Trump media and deep state deal with this? At Kim.com, announcement coming. And then on Kim.com, the actual Kim.com, he's got this hashtag Seth Rich was a hero. I know that Seth Rich was involved in the DNC link. He wanted to change that from the inside. And then we have Sean Hannity, stay tuned, public invitation, Kim.com to be a guest on radio and TV, hashtag game changer. Buckle up, destroy Trump media, sheep that you all are. That was May 20th. The more Democrats and media attack us for bringing up hashtag Seth Rich, the more I know we're closer to finding truth. And this was another page on Kim.com. This is Kim.com's statement about Seth Rich. Julian Assange. WikiLeaks has never disclosed the source. Sources sometimes talk to other parties, but identities never emerge from WikiLeaks. Hashtag Seth Rich. Then God bless at Kim.com. CNN's tweet. The brother of slain DNC staffer Seth Rich is pleading with Sean Hannity to stop spreading a conspiracy theory. That was May 23rd. Kim.com. His nickname was Panda. Hashtag Seth Rich. And then Jill Renee. Anybody curious about the timing of the Manchester attack? Oh, it takes Seth Rich out of the news. She's connecting dots. And again, there's the Manchester, and then the other one was Joe Rogan and Jimmy Dore talking about it. Next day, the South Florida shooting. So anybody curious about the timing of the Manchester attack? It takes Seth Rich out of the news. Bury the news. Kim.com. I'm meeting with my legal team on Monday. I will issue a statement about Seth Rich on Tuesday. Please be patient. This needs to be done properly. I knew Seth Rich. I knew he was the WikiLeaks source. I was involved. Kim.com on the 23rd. Seth Rich released soon. Kim.com on the 28th. If this FBI document is authentic, it could turn the conspiracy theory into a cover-up conspiracy. Justice for Seth Rich. And Joe Biggs tweeted, FBI memo reveals Seth Rich had DNC documents on laptop. Oh yeah, remember Debbie Wasserman wanting the laptop from the cops? This is a gigantic document of the Clinton body count. Wow, look at this thing. Oh, I wish it was high quality. That's pretty nuts. Oh, okay, so this one came out in September 2016. And it says, our team at CrowdStrike has begun the work of tracking the notorious 400-pound hacker, Overweight Bear. And then this next person says, that means he's Russian? Or could it be Overweight Panda? And remember, Kim.com said Seth Rich is Panda. And then down low it says Panda is also a bear, and then but a different hacker. So, the bear is Russia. And maybe, okay, so if Seth Rich is Panda and a panda bear, and the media kept saying it's a Russian hack, and Russia is identified as the bear, as China is identified as the dragon, and USA as the eagle, then a Russian hack meaning Seth Rich the panda, I guess that would be true. All right, so those are those little, and I had a bunch of others, but at this point, I think you get the point. And again, talking about the media is stupid. Covering current events is not what conspiracy theorists and truthers do, because we know that's all lies. But in this particular case, in this angle of the politics that are going on, where the news is so monumentally slanted in one direction, omits, another video I was talking about the selective exposure and how they control the narrative. If all of this didn't impact you at all, there's nothing else I could tell you. Look into the Seth Rich thing. Keep an eye out for it making it into the news again. And when it does, just start tracking the news every day afterwards, because pretty soon something's going to happen to bury the news. If there's one thing you gathered out of this, if you haven't known the phrase bury the news, I hope you know it now. I hope you could see how they orchestrate through so many different publications the same exact narrative. It wasn't just one outlet. It was tons of outlets I just showed you. And that goes to the idea of all media is really 3 to 6 companies. And that's pretty hard for people to believe, because on your cable box you have so many different companies, but it all traces back to 3 to 6, depending on your perspective. 3 to 6 companies own everything. And you saw how all of them were all pushing that Seth Rich was a conspiracy theory. Now, I'll say this too, though. I did see that I'm curious to see what the #1 Seth Rich video on YouTube is. Let's see. Seth Rich. This ought to be interesting. Wow. Rogan. But see, I don't know if this is tailored for me. But Rogan and Jimmy Dory on the Seth Rich conspiracy. Wow. His name was Seth Rich. New Seth Rich murder investigation update. Seth Rich investigator shot twice in the back and run over by a car. Alex Jones. Wow. Truth about Seth Rich. The DNC WikiLeaks scandal by Stefan Molyneux. Joe Rogan again. Podesta emails. Who murdered Seth Rich? Kim.com. The Deep State by Blackpilled. Oh man, I haven't seen that one yet. If you don't follow the Black Pill channel, you got to check this guy out, man. He's pretty good. Breaking news on Seth Rich case, again by Black Pill. Who killed Seth Rich? ABC News. I bet you that one. But then I did see ReallyGraceful's account on Seth Rich, and she was kind of saying to not take the bait on it. And I got to rewatch her video because I listened to it in the car. I wasn't visually watching it. She usually has a pretty good position, and she thinks, I think from what I remember, it was like she thought it was like a honeypot or a misdirection or something. So there's that. But at the same time, there's just so much. You saw the video. You know what I'm saying. I'm going to wrap it here. Again, I want you to take out of this the concepts, not necessarily me going after Clinton or the DNC or Debbie Wasserman or Tim Kaine or any of the people involved. I'm not talking about that. My goal is to train you to understand that the news is not your friend. You got to read 1984. You got to read Animal Farm and read them as true stories, as the blueprint of what's going on right now. As strange as that sounds, just don't read it as fiction. Read it as blueprints. Fahrenheit 451. All of these dystopian books trying to warn you of how information's controlled, how they could just find and replace, the memory hole, how history is erased, how the inconvenient truths are erased, and you can't really believe anything you see or hear or anything. And I know you want all the answers, but you got to do some thinking for yourself, some critical thinking. Hope this was somewhat enlightening. Let me know how you feel in the comments below. Let me know if you see what I'm saying. Have you been following the Seth Rich story? And again, this wasn't even about the Seth Rich story. My angle was to talk about the media coverage. They get you to see the layered effect, the orchestration, the misdirections, the damage control, controlling the narrative, and that they went after Sean Hannity's advertisers. If there's nothing there, why would they go that far? All right, well, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.